And today is a big day for Professor Michael Kerin, who's being officially appointed as the President of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland. The Kilnamona native was appointed Vice President of the RCSI in June 2024. He's Chair of Surgery at the University of Galway and Director of the Cancer Managed Clinical Academic Network for HC West and North West. And earlier I spoke with Michael to find out how he feels about being appointed to such a significant and important role. A very good morning to you, and thanks for being with us on Morning Focus.
Good morning, Alan. Hope everybody is good in my native county.
They are, but how many of them are as good as you are, or feeling as good as you are at this moment, is open to debate. Congratulations on your appointment as President of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland. What does this moment mean to you, both personally and professionally?
Well, I suppose it's a new chapter in a way. I've been a surgeon since 1988 now, so I've been working as Professor of Surgery in Galway since 2004 and on the Council of the College of Surgeons in Ireland since that time, since 2006. So I got elected as Vice President 2 years ago, and I have the honour of taking over as President today.
And it is one of the most important leadership roles in Irish medicine. Your vast experience and also your tenure as Vice President, does that stand you in good stead to take on such a big role?
Well, I think so. It's an exciting time for surgery. I mean, the President would usually lead the college, develop the strategic direction. We have a major role in training the next generation of surgeons. And of course, we have to advocate for surgery and try and improve access of the population to appropriate surgery across the country.
You are a proud Clare man from Kilnamona. How important have your roots been in shaping your career and outlook in life? And, did you ever imagine, back in Kilnamona all those years ago, you'd reach a position such as this?
No, I mean, I guess you just got to play the game as it comes. It's obviously, I grew up in Kilnamona and went to primary school there and then went to Flannan's and went on to college in Galway, and I qualified a long time ago now, 1984, and I've been involved in surgery ever since, really. So I actually worked in Ennis for a while back in the day with as an intern with Dominic Cook, and Dr. Curtin was there, and Dennis O'Callig and Jerry Burns. So I would have been, intermittently during my training, I would have done a little bit of work in Ennis as locum consultant and various things over the years. And I'm a very proud Clare man, and delighted to move on. As years go by, I would have worked a lot in Dublin. I was a consultant in the Mater for 5 years before coming back to Galway. And, I've been involved with the training and development of young surgeons along the way. So in some ways, I guess, becoming president of the RCSI, while it's a great moment for me at one level, it's also, just another step on the journey.
I've no doubt your appointment is a great source of pride for many here in Clare. Have you been receiving messages from home since the announcement? I'm sure friends and family and even beyond that.
I had the honour of being Clare Man of the Year, or whatever you call it. The Mary Considine and I got awarded by the Clare Association in Dublin this year. And, I've been up and down a lot over the years. And, more recently, obviously, my brother Austin and my sister Caroline and so on still reside in Clare, and their families and so on. So, yeah, I've been in constant touch, I suppose, and lots of people have been sending messages of congratulations and so on.
You mentioned that, growing up you couldn't have conceived of landing in a role like President of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland, but what ignited your journey in this particular area in medicine and surgery? Who or what inspired you to pursue this career?
It's very interesting. I mean, as a young person coming through the loop in secondary school, I didn't really know what I was going to do. And then I grew up on a farm, and I had some contact, with the vet and so on coming through. And I had my relatives were in medicine. My aunts were nurses and married to doctors and so on. And when I was wondering what to do, I kind of got an interest in medicine as a career, and then progressed into it. But then I guess one of the challenges, or you wonder what the joy of surgery is that you can identify a problem and solve it by doing an operation a lot of the time. And, somebody coming in with appendicitis or some early cases of things that I got involved in, you always have mentors and people you look up to and see. And I remember Bernie Murphy and Fred Given, who were surgeons that I worked with back in the day, would have people who encouraged me along the road and get started out. And then I guess I got very involved in the molecular biology of cancer, what causes cancer, why some people respond well to treatment and others don't, and so on. And I found that also a very good mix, identifying the right people to do the operation on and the right time to do the operation, but also at mixing in the team that needed to deliver other forms of treatment to improve outcomes. So it's very hard to be specific. Life's a journey and you meet people along the way. But I think the one advice I would give to people is to be fairly open-minded about what they do, but also be interested and follow their paths. If they like to pursue something, carry on and do so.
Have you, I presume, key priorities that you'd like to achieve as president over the coming years?
Yeah, like I said at the beginning, I think surgery, is a major part of improving outcome for patients overall. And I think one of the challenges in the Ireland of today is that a lot of the value of hospitals or the functionality is kind of talked about in the context of the trolley crisis, which means that actually the hospitals are full, but there aren't enough beds to put people into. And as a consequence, patients aren't getting appropriate access to surgery. So we need to move on with the elective surgery centres. We need to move on with proper functioning cancer centres. And we need to invest in infrastructure that allows patients to achieve appropriate access to surgical care. So that's one part of it. And then I think one of the big things is to try to ensure that we recruit and develop the next generation of surgeons. One of the things that I'd be particularly interested in is developing the academic aspects of surgery and ensuring that we get the kind of approach in place that invites the next generation of people into the surgical realm. It's a very, very exciting time we're in, moving on in medicine now with a personalised approach to care and with the addition of robotics and the addition of AI and radiomic profiling and other things will allow us to be smarter in how we deliver care. But one of the challenges with all of this is we need to improve our infrastructure, and we particularly need to improve the infrastructure for surgical care delivery in an environment that is, modern and evolving.
One of the significant challenges, as you're no doubt aware, Michael, is of course recruitment and retention of healthcare professionals. What role can the RCSI play in addressing this particular challenge?
Hugely important. One of the things I'd be particularly interested in is the surgical team. I think if people are in an environment that's fit for purpose and have a good team, multidisciplinary team around them, it becomes a very attractive place to work. So I think, we need to evolve the infrastructure and we need to involve the concept of team, and we need to try and bring the excitement back into care. In lots of ways, people feel vulnerable because they want, population wants a perfect outcome in an environment that isn't really fit for purpose. And we have to work together with the policymakers and with the government to try to move that situation forward. And I think one of the great things when you look at people doing Leaving Cert or coming to university, the joy in seeing people getting into med school, and I've had, great experience, very fulfilling environment, seeing, educating the students and bringing them through into medicine, making the step into clinical practice and ensuring that the programme is fit for purpose there to ensure that they can develop is really important moving forward. And I'll try to be as positive as possible in developing that.
You're someone who's quite heavily involved in teaching and training. With that in mind, what qualities do you believe are most important for future surgical leaders?
I think ability to change and move with the times is very important. an ability to confer, being able to develop an environment that's fit for purpose, ensuring that all the members in the team can play their part and develop themselves. I keep saying to people when you're on the step of the stairs, it's important to push the person in front of you up and pull the person behind you. And in doing that, you'll invariably move forward yourself. So having a functional program and a team that's progressive, like we see some of our best people immigrating to Australia and they all want to come back, like in due course. But I think if we can make the situation here better, then they'll perhaps be, anxious to remain at home. But more importantly, we'll be able to recruit back some of the very best people in the world to deliver care if we have a fit-for-purpose environment for them to work in. I keep talking about the academic medical centre model, and that's really a model where you deliver clinical care in an environment of research and education. And you're educating people as they come through, you're creating new knowledge, and you're ensuring that the institution that you're working in is functional in the world of today by interacting with other top centres in our own country, but then out across Europe and the world. And we do that with some of the research program we're running here. Like I've had a big role with the National Breast Cancer Research Institute over the years, and breast cancer care has completely been transformed. And the LAM Institute for Translational Research that we run in Galway has been hugely instrumental in developing that. And we've, been able to create and develop new knowledge, but also create and develop people as we go along.
And in terms of progression and development, we see so many advances in terms of technology, robotics, and of course, artificial intelligence, which I would imagine you'd expect to play a significant role in the evolution of surgery over the next decade or so.
Totally. I think we're going to see a situation where robotic surgery, AI, there's going to be an integration between radiology, for example, and more precise surgery as we go along. And also the development of a clear role for surgery in overall care. If you take people with, say, arthritis or, the hip replacement situation, cataract situation, gallbladder surgery, whatever it might be, there's going to be an ability to do more precise surgery and develop improved outcomes for people by integrating all this modern technology into how we do things.
Well, look, very interesting and exciting times, and certainly an exciting time for yourself. Congratulations again on being appointed the President of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland, Professor Michael Kerin, and thank you so much for joining us on Morning Focus.
Great pleasure, Alan. Thank you.